Thousands of viewers have been tuning into a live stream over the last few weeks to watch a fluffy trio of falcon chicks nesting on top of a Melbourne skyscraper. The chicks are now preparing to take their first flight with no guarantee it will be a success. I'm joined now by Professor Gisela Kaplan, an emeritus professor in animal behaviour at the University of New England. Gisela, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks for having me, Kate.
I mean, they're so cute, this little trio of chicks, but they are precariously placed 150 metres above a very busy road, a main road in Melbourne. What is the first few weeks of a chick's life like?
Well, the first few weeks are wonderfully spoiled. All they have to do is open their beak and swallow. But then slowly the teaching begins. You see, it's one of those errors that we make, that everything is instinctive and the birds will know what to do and will know what when the time comes to fly. They don't. They actually have to learn something from the parents and get a lot of encouragement and hints before that. And the first flight day is one of the biggest days in their life. It's like a day of
I'll ask you about that in a moment. We're just looking at these live pictures now. What would the chicks have been learning up to now to prepare them for their big day when they fly the nest?
Well, one thing that is, in fact, inbuilt in the birds is they will flap their wings for at least a week beforehand and strengthen their muscles. So that's important. But what they have learned is how their parents behave in the sky. And as you know, the peregrine falcons are the fastest birds in the world. They fold their wings together and then dive down and then stop their flights mid-air when they've reached their target, and then grab whatever it is, usually a feral pigeon or a starling or something like that, something we don't want to have in the cities anyway, so it's all very good. And in this case, you mentioned 150 metres above ground is actually an advantage for the little chicks. When they fly the first time, they may not get the wing posture right, but they have time to correct it. If it were much lower, they wouldn't be able to do it, and they would, in fact, crash onto the concrete. Okay. So that wouldn't be very good.
Not
but
the
it's
outcome.
Very exciting.
Yeah, why do you think that the mother falcon would have chosen this ledge so high up in an urban landscape?
Because A, food is available, and B, as a departure point, if they have a protected little balcony, which people have obviously donated for them to do their fledging and their growing, and it's an ideal position. They would use very high ledges on cliffs for the same reason, that the youngsters have the time to adjust when they dive into the air. And the parents do something very interesting. They fly by with food and say, look where the food is. It's in the air. You have to come here. And they tease them permanently. I've been privileged to see flights of the fledging moment of magpies and of some other species. And it can be a disaster. I mean, magpies crash into the next tree because they haven't judged the distance correctly, or they haven't put their feet out in time, or they haven't managed to get to the branch. But for peregrine falcons, it's largely falling into the unknown and then spreading their wings. And most of them do relatively well. Not in the first few seconds, but they do well, and then catch their flight and land safely. But it is a very exciting and very anxious moment.
Absolutely.
For the parent.
And for all these viewers of the Bird Cam Watch. I know that there are bird party watching going on in November. They're meant to take off early November. What is your hope for the trio?
The hope for the trio is that at least two make it, and hopefully all three. There's usually one weaker one in there, and that may be a problem, because when the wings are a bit weaker, the muscles aren't as well developed, and that may depend on the food availability. So what the peregrine falcons do is they always have a spare so to speak. And if food is not easily available, they will feed the first two first and the third one last if there's anything left.
Goodness.
So we
It really
keep
is
our fingers
survival of
crossed
the
as being like
fittest.
being at the races.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, look, thank you for teaching us a little bit more about bird behaviour. Professor Gisela Kaplan, Emeritus Professor in Animal Behaviour at the University of New England. Thank you.